What up, what up? It's your homeboy Maul the Pimp, aka MTP, and welcome to another edition of the Pimpoholic TV Podcast. I got a very special young lady here. I go way back to 2005 or 6 with this young lady right here. Let me introduce her. How can I say this? You've heard her on the infamous No Limit Records recording label with Master P. She's a platinum selling artist with her classic album, Rear End. You heard on songs like Gangsters Need Love Too, I Can Tell, just to name a few. And she's still relevant today. I'm talking about the lovely, the pretty Miss Mercedes. Welcome to Pimpoholic TV, and how you doing, lady?
Hey, Mom. Thank you for having me. I'm good.
Yeah, man. Thank you for tuning in. How you been, Mercedes? How you been? You know, we go way back. You feel what I'm saying? So what's going on with you? What's going on?
Right now I'm practicing heavy, getting ready for this tour. We about to go back out. Finally, they done lifted some of these restrictions. So hopefully y'all do what y'all gotta do out there so they don't shut us back down.
Right,
Uh, we
right.
be rolling into these cities real soon, starting in October. So we coming to a city near you. I hope that y'all get y'all tickets and get some good seats because I'm coming to put on the show. And finally put your girl on the roster.
Right, thank you. And she's talking about the infamous No Limit Records reunion tour. We're gonna get into that later on. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Some details about that, y'all. We're gonna definitely talk about that because it's coming for real. Let's go back to the beginning. For those who don't know, where was Mercedes born and raised at?
I am born and raised in the Detroit, Michigan.
All right.
My roots are New Orleans, so a lot of people think that's where I'm from because I was signed to them when the takeoff happened, and every other artist prior to 98, 99 was all New Orleans based rappers. So after that, that's when we started, picking up people from like California and
Right.
other places. So, but yeah, it's always misconceived that I am from New Orleans, but that is my second home. I have plenty family there. I spent all of my summers there, so I could get why people assume that I was from there, but no, I'm from the D. High school, middle school, all that good stuff was right here.
Okay, talk about what brought you to New Orleans. Why did you even end up down being coming to New Orleans, being from Detroit? How did that happen?
Well, actually, I have been singing since I was 5. I went to the Performing Arts High School. I actually came to visit one year. My uncle was the dean of athletics at Xavier University,
Okay.
and when he had his retirement party, I was like a freshman, like just started my freshman year in high school, and of course, like anybody else's family, when you can do something, you have some type of talent, they always want to call you out. They had a live band. So, of course, I had to get up and sing. So, by the time I was done, everybody mixing and mingling or whatever. And my mama calls me over, and the dean of the students was talking to her. So he asked me, at that point, like, what did I want to do in my life? And of course, I did want to attend college, but my passion had always been music. So when I told him that, he said, "Well, we have an excellent music program. I want you to keep us in mind. If you keep Xavier as a choice, I'm offering you a full ride right now." So before I really even started high school, I had a full ride at Xavier. So by the time it came 12th grade year and we were submitting applications, I mean, I did, but I knew overall that that would be my choice, number one, because my mama felt a lot comfortable with me being somewhere that I had family, It's
Right.
kind of hard to just let your children just go off. And so that made them feel a little bit at ease that I would be somewhere. And if I needed somebody, I would have them. So it kind of made the choice like simple. And yeah, that's how I ended up there for sure.
Okay, now you get to Xavier, and we talked about this before, but I want you to explain this again. So you get to
Yeah.
Xavier as a regular college student. How the hell did the no limit situation? You going from being a regular college student like thousands more people to being heard and signed to Master P No Limit. Give us the details about how that happened right there.
Well, I had a lot of friends that bucked me up to do the talent show. They had a thing called what was it called? A Night at XU. It was basically like kind of like a Showtime at the Apollo setup. If any of y'all even remember how that went,
Yeah, I
but
remember.
I actually got up there to sing and I did good. And they had like another extension, like if you did good, you know, from Xavier Dillard and stuff like that, we performed again. And Cain and Abel actually attended my school, but I didn't know them. None of them actually. Like by me being from the Midwest, I knew nothing about No Limit, none of the artists, none of that. So we had the little show or whatever, and afterwards, C and C Murder and
Right.
Cain and Abel approached me, and they asked me like, you know, do you record? Do you have any experience recording? And I'm like, yeah, because I had always been in, you know, groups with other females, so they wanted me to get on the track, and I agreed. So like that following week, they picked me up from school. We drove out to BR, that's Baton Rouge,
Baton
and
Rouge.
we went to the studio immediately. I ended up doing Down and Dirty, the song that made it to the I'm Bout It soundtrack.
No
Um,
limit down and
and
dirty. Ah,
then,
okay.
yeah,
All right.
2 niggas down.
Right.
Yeah.
Silky Shocker. Yeah.
So that was the first thing I recorded, and by the time I got out the booth, P had done come into the office. Like he wasn't there when I first got there. It really was just us and a few of the producers. I believe it was KLC and Craig B. So by the time I come out, you know, a lot of y'all don't know, but they like to play. So when he saw me, he like, what's up, Red? Who is you? So like I said, I don't know nobody.
This
So
Master P. This Master P saying this.
yeah,
Right.
and me, anybody that know me know I talk slick. I got a mouth on me. So when
Yeah.
he said that, I'm like, well, who are you? And he like, well, this is my label. And I'm like, okay. He like, so you can sing? I'm like, yeah. He like, let me hear something. So they played the track for him. So he like, you want to do this? I'm like, for sure. He like, you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yeah. He say, all right, we gonna make that happen. We finna get some paperwork drawn up and we gonna do that. So you need to figure out what your name gonna be. Of course, I'm thinking, you know, okay, whatever, because I done had offers from being in groups, so I know not to get my hopes up.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm hoping that this gonna happen. And for sure, like 2-3 days go past, and they call me and say, we gonna send somebody come to the city and pick you up. We need you to come pick this paperwork up. And it was as simple as that. Like I chose a name. I was signed in like 2 weeks. We all flew out to Houston, to Pen and Pixel, and shot various photos. And I was on
We're
my
gonna we're
set.
gonna we're gonna talk about that too. We're gonna talk about the album cover. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So for people that don't know, so it was C Murder and Cain and Abel, the twins, that actually brought Mercedes to No Limit. You feel me? That's
Absolutely.
who discovered you for the most part.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Now, back in the day, based on some internet footage, I would see what I always heard was that when people signed No Limit, the upfront advance was $60,000 in No Limit chain. Is that accurate?
Uh, to to a degree, not necessarily as far as the money, because you got to think, if you didn't have a name prior to coming to any label, you don't really anticipate in advance. Like we didn't have all this, you know, social media and
Right.
going viral. We didn't have that. Like you literally had to put the work in and get in front of the right people to actually, you know, get chosen. So it wasn't necessarily that you got a bonus per se, but the work was there. We did actually get chains. Everybody got chains. Um, by the time they actually got the major distribution deal, we all got gifted cars. Like I had no idea that I was getting a car. Like I wasn't even tripping on it. I just got a phone call one day and they was asking me information that I thought it was weird, but I didn't think none of it because again, I'm signed to y'all. So y'all probably need this for something relating to music. And then like by the time the sun set, they want to know where I'm at. Like they never just called me this much, you know. So
Yeah.
I just so happened to be by my grandma's house, and some of my family was in town. And, you know, like I said, we didn't have no cell phones and stuff at this particular time. So I'm really looking out to see where they at because they gotta look for the address, you know. So I see this car and I know it's not a car that I'm used to seeing. And I come out and you know, they had another car following it. So when I get out, he get out this white Camaro and he like, here you go, shorty. I'm like, well, he like, this for you. So, you know, of course I don't even think I was 19 yet. I'm super excited because like
All right.
now I got a brand new whip paid for. Like I ain't gotta worry about no insurance, no none of that. Like I was good.
All
So
right.
yeah, it wasn't a bonus per se, but like I said, I didn't want for nothing after that point. Like
Gotcha.
anything I needed, I had.
So from the minute you go from being just an unknown college student to signing with No Limit Records, when did you start to see a lifestyle change as far as fame recognition and all that? How long did it take you to start seeing like, okay, I'm somebody?
Well, actually, it took me a minute. Like for them, it changed instantly. Like they was, you can't do this, you can't go here, you can't go there. But like I said, I know nothing. I don't know that, you know, it's people that don't particularly like us. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that are actually fans at this point.
Right.
So I didn't know. Like I'm young, I'm a college student. I won't go and do and see people. So they was, you know, you can't be going here, you can't do that. So one particular night, you know, I'm ignoring them. I just so happened to go to a club. By this time, I had done, I was at the studio so much. They had a tour coming up. I had to withdraw from school. So by doing so, I had to leave the dorm. So I went got an apartment or whatever. I started hanging out, you know, in the inner city a little bit more. So we went to a club, a few of my friends, and I had my chain on. After that night, it was real. Like people like, oh, they wanted to know who I was because they see me with this chain. Like they
Right.
know you're not gonna be walking around with this chain and you're not affiliated with this label.
Right.
Because at that time, it wasn't a cover circulating. So nobody just knew who I was, but they knew I had to be somebody. You know what I'm saying? So it was wild. Like it literally from night and day, it was me just moving around, doing what I do to it got to a point where I wouldn't wear the chain because I didn't want the attention.
Right. Yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it. Uh, so was I'm Bout It soundtrack the first thing you was featured on the national level under No Limit? Or was it
Yeah,
something before that?
definitely.
I'm Bout It. I'm Bout It.
I'm About It was the first one. Yeah.
Okay. And then what followed that? What was your next release nationally after the I'm Bout It soundtrack? What album or what song?
It was the Nothing to Lose soundtrack with Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence. Okay. All right. All right.
What song was that? Dang, I can't remember the name of the song offhand. I know it's right here, but yeah, that's what we did. We actually had got a call for it. And I had never done like nothing like that in my life. They sent like a score of the movie, like where, you know, the time that
Right.
it needed to be and where it would be placed in the actual movie.
Right.
And I just so happened to be there. And I believe that C Murder and Silk might have been on that song. I know for sure C Murder was on it. And the song called for somebody to sing. So of course, by me being the only R&B artist at the time, besides Moby would, you know, get
Right.
on all the stuff, but they didn't have a female. Like they had to always find somebody to do that type of work if it was needed. So it was an easy, you know, like okay, call her. We need to knock this out. So yeah, that was the next one after the I'm About It.
And in your mind, I think I got my own answer to this. What was the biggest song you was featured on? That we all know.
Well, see, that's not true because I wasn't technically featured on it. It was on my album.
So it's just gotcha.
It's my song, but it was a re-release because the promotion wasn't like it needed to be.
Give them the name of the song first. Give them the name of the song so we all know.
I Can Tell. It was re-released on the 504 Boys.
Gotcha. Featuring
Yeah.
who's
Featuring
artist?
Mac and Jabot.
Right.
Free
Okay.
Mac, he home.
Finally, Mac is home. Okay, now give us the scoop on that song about being a re-release. Give us a scoop on that now.
Well, basically, like I said, when my album dropped, as y'all know, like every week it was an album from somebody on the roster coming out. So me and Fiend's album came out like 2 weeks apart.
Okay.
And we did a heavy promo tour, but we never pushed I Can Tell. And to be completely honest, a lot of people don't know, but my album was done in 7 days. So It's Your Thing was my single because it was the first song that I actually recorded, and we had to send it off, so they could get everything together, do the treatment for the video and find dancers and all that good stuff. So that ended up being my single, but I Can Tell had to be like the third or the second song that I did to complete the album. And oh my bad, a call came in. So I pushed for that, which made them pay a little bit more attention to it. And I knew that he knew that song was a hit. So my song wasn't the only one to go on it. Like one of Fiend's songs went on the 504 Boys. So it was kind of like a compilation, and they just put other songs that was already out that if you wasn't up on this album,
right.
you might go check it out. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Okay, now give me one or two of your, or more if you want to, of your favorite memories from No Limit. Shit that you would just take to the grave that you'll never forget. Like highlights, lifetime moments, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm gonna say the tour had to be the top. Cause we saw a lot, we did a lot, and you gotta think, I'm with a bunch of dudes all the time. Like at the time, me and Mia were the main girls. Peaches actually came out on tour with us.
Right.
But she was sort of fresh at the time. And they had just dropped that song with Romeo, and she was on it. But besides that, it was always just me and Mia. And I grew up, I was a tomboy growing up. So it's nothing for me to be around a bunch of dudes. Like I'm never uncomfortable. Like I actually prefer it because I mean, you know how I go. Like if I want something, I got it. I'm protected. Like it's nothing. We having a good. If I want something, I got it. I'm protected at all times. If it ain't security, I got 30 other dudes that's not they're not going for nothing. So it was always a good time. I saw a lot that I'm not gonna say.
Okay, I get that.
but yeah, it was for sure an experience. I really learned that they have some real diehard fans out here. Like yeah. For real. Like they goes above and beyond. Like you have no idea. So yeah, that had to be like on the top, the few months that we was moving around from city to city, I saw and I did a lot, for sure.
Out of the large roster that No Limit had, which artists were you the most closest with and why?
Oh, I don't know if I could say the most closest because by us being the only two females at the time.
You and Mia X.
Yeah, we had good relationships with everybody, but for the most part, I was on a regular with C Murder, Cain and Abel, Fiend, Mac, and the Prime Suspects. Rest in peace to my boy Skanu. He just passed away, but yeah, them was my rounds. Like I had to cook for them.
For real?
Yes, indeed.
You can cook New Orleans food.
Absolutely, I can cook everything you like.
Oh, okay, damn, okay. All right.
Definitely.
Hey,
them Southern grandmothers don't play. I started young.
Ladies from Detroit. She from Detroit, but can cook New Orleans food. That's what's up. That's a plus right there. That's a plus.
Definitely.
So when you first signed to the label, what artists were already there when you first got there?
They had Mia X, of course, P, Master P, C Murder, Silk the Shocker, Cain and Abel, Fiend, and Mac signed around the same time that I did. They had Skullduggery, Mr. Servon,
Sir.
Mystical got signed on
Mystical,
either that year or the following year.
My nigga.
Prime Suspects, and I believe Ghetto Commission.
Okay. That was there when you got, now who came after you? Who did you watch Pete go out and snatch and bring to the label?
Mr. Magic, rest in peace.
Right.
Who else? Doug, D-U-G.
D-I-G, right? D-I-G.
Yeah, D-I-G, D. That's right.
Yeah.
Popeye.
Popeye.
Alexis got signed. Miss Peaches, Portia. I don't remember their names. The twins. I never actually met them because by that time
The Ghetto Twins. The Ghetto Twins.
No, the Ghetto Twins was local New Orleans artists. I forgot what their name was. 2 for 1, I think.
Okay.
I think it was 2 for 1.
All right.
Who else? Lil Italy.
I remember that.
Sons of Funk.
Remember
them. It wasn't Steady Mobbin'. Their name was something Mobbin'. It was 2 dudes. They was from California.
All right.
Well, they all
it wasn't Steady Mobbin'?
Was it Steady Mobbin'?
Yeah, it was a Steady. I remember seeing a Steady Mobbin' album cover.
Okay, that was it. I didn't want to make them.
Yeah. I remember.
I got them confused with somebody else, so that's why I didn't want to say that was their name, but I thought it was. And I want to say that's about it. While I was still a part,
So you wasn't there for Soulja Slim or Snoop?
Well, I was, but I don't know how I forgot them. Rest in peace, Slim, absolutely, and of course my big aunt Snoop. But
my nigga too.
Yeah, he's hilarious. I had done already moved back to Michigan because when I did my promo tour, I was gone for so long. And I was used to, flying back, coming to see my family for a minute, go back home. I really didn't have time. And like I said, when I went out on the road, I had to withdraw from school. So I figured if I'm going to be away, when I come back home, I want to be able to see my family. So I had to move back to Michigan. So the time that I would normally spend at the studio, I wasn't doing it because I wasn't there. Gotcha. Which is why you didn't hear me on a lot of projects once I moved, because I wasn't there. And at the time, we didn't work with outside producers. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't I'm going to lay some tracks and get some stuff done here, because none of the technology was the way that it is now. So you literally had to be present to do the work.
Right. And for those of y'all that don't know, the first, and I told him to say this another time we talked, the first time I met this lady was probably...
Yeah, it's been a good minute.
It was early, late 90s, 98, 99, or some shit like that. I remember this. This one, No Limit, was scorching hot. So, and this one back when record stores was up and running right here, y'all, before the downloads and all this shit. We had a spot called Catch Music in Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's where all the artists came when they came to the city. They would come do the in-stores and shit like that. So, one day I see it on the marquee, it says Master P, it says No Limit Soldiers this Saturday for autograph signing. Right. I'm thinking it's gonna be Master P coming, right? You follow what I'm saying? Right. I'm hot in my seat. I got the city on lock with my music. So I'm thinking, No Limit Soldiers, here come Master P. I'm gonna go out there and shop my demo and be like, need to sign me and whoop this and that. I get out there, there's no Master P. It's 3 people: Alexis, Fiend, and Mercedes. Now I knew Mercedes from the infamous album cover, the rear end album cover. So I'm like, that's her from the album cover. I'm like, oh hell yeah. So I go through, wait in line like everybody else, come through. and I told you this before. Fiend was out of posters and Alexis was out of posters. The only posters they had was still some of yours left. The rear end
Yeah.
poster, like a big old 18 by 26.
Yeah,
You
the
feel like
huge ones.
the big
Yeah.
shit, yeah, the big shit. So I go down the line, you sign my shit, Fiend signed my shit, and Alexa signed my shit. Hey y'all, I kept that poster for 15 years, but I took that bitch to my college dorm, had them up and hanged up like just like this in my college dorm room. And niggas would come to my dorm like, man, you met her? Like, yeah, nigga, you see the autograph right there? Yeah, I met her. And she was my bread and butter for the longest. Then in 2005, I moved to Detroit after Hurricane Katrina from New Orleans, and then I finally meet you, and that's when me and her connected. And we've been locked there since. You know what I'm saying? So
For sure, my brother for life.
Yeah, for real, like for real. I got love for this girl right here, man. Let's talk about this. A few months ago, the No Limit Chronicles came on TV. You feel me? And that was on BET, and that shit was smoking hot. It gave everybody the whole No Limit Records education from beginning to end. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How did you first hear about that, and how did the phone call go saying this is what's going on? We need your interview. Give us that layout right there. How that went about.
Well, I actually had got an email, and it was, BT. My name is such and such. I would like for you to contact us about a possible documentary. So I, of course, called the people back, and they like, well, are you familiar with the Chronicles? They had already done one on the Tupac and Biggie story.
Right.
So these are the same producers that did that reached out to us to possibly put this together. And in like 2-3 weeks, I got a phone call at this point, because now we then exchange information and I don't have to check my email. They're gonna call me. Right. And they basically just wanted to know my availability, what day. They told me, when they would be there to actually do shooting, because they was there for a few days with, it being so many of us. And you literally like sit there for, I think I was there for about 3 hours. You literally sit in front of the camera and they just ask you lots and lots of questions. So I flew out. They made all the accommodations. I had to be there by a specific time, and my time was my time. So I got to talk. A lot of the pictures they got from me, because you got to think a lot of people lost a lot of stuff in Katrina. So a lot of those memories that we might have had on, from taking pictures, because we had them, disposable cameras back then. You had to drop it off and get all your pictures. Right. So I still have a lot of that stuff. And because a lot of people didn't have stuff to bring, they asked me like, can you please remember to bring some of that stuff, because they would like to incorporate it. So I did my part. I showed up, and the rest is history. Again, we told our story, and it came out good.
So what did they fight to? What was the location? The filming location. What was that?
New Orleans, of course.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Right. Yeah, we did it in New Orleans.
Okay.
For sure. I mean, it was just more convenient because all of the producers are still there. Mia X is still there. Fiend is still there.
Right.
Mr. Servon is still there. So right. I want to say the only people that actually had to fly in were Anthony Boswell, Master P, and Silk. Silk the Child.
Okay. So when you doing this interview, and then it comes out, you feel me? So you know how the interview went. Then you finally see it on the big screen for the first time. What goes to your head? You feel what I'm
saying? It was actually weird because you didn't what you said there and all the questions that they asked, but you don't know what's going to actually make it to actual edits.
Right.
So that was cool to see. They got most of the good stuff that I was talking about. So I was satisfied. And of course my phone couldn't stop ringing. Like as soon as they started airing the commercial, I'm getting tagged on social media, I'm getting phone calls. Like it was going crazy.
So for the most part, from the times you spent there and the shit that you know personally versus what you saw on TV, was that pretty much accurate?
Yeah, for the most part. Some of the stuff, not with me. Like, I think the editors kind of mixed up some of the stuff, like some of the questions, like if the formats kind of seemed like P was telling the story.
Yeah.
And
It did.
so the responses that they were given from everyone else chronologically, it didn't go, but it made sense, if
I
that
get.
makes sense.
I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. So, Matt catches his case and goes away. What I think 1999 or whatever. You feel me?
Definitely. All of our albums had just dropped. So that was why we never had a visual for I Can Tell.
Right.
Because he, was sitting in there fighting and eventually was charged. So,
Right.
we never got to do it.
Now, a few months ago, Matt, after 20 or 21 years, is finally released from prison. What was the first thing that went through your head, man, when you finally got that news?
I was excited for him because I know how he felt, like even before we could do the JPay thing, like that's been my dog. Like I have handwritten letters, and he also does too, Before we could do the JPay thing, we literally were keeping in contact because we always had that connection, like just like with you, like I'm silent. So
You're
if
very, you are.
if I mess with you, I mess with you all the way. Ain't no half with me. So
Right.
yeah, that's my dog. And I know, he missed out on a lot. He missed
Yes.
out on just not even per se the money he could have made, but the connections he could have made and the people he could have touched, and like people's lives that he wasn't there to be hands-on with, like it's tough when somebody didn't do it, but because of the things that you say in your musical content can harm you. Like it don't even have to be true, but they're gonna paint a picture and make you this monster.
And that shit works. And it works.
Yeah, it worked for the both of them, for him and C Murder. Hopefully everything go good for him too, and we'll get to see him home soon. But yeah, it was tough.
That will be my next question. I was gonna bring C Murder up next, like the relationship with him, how you feel about what's going on with him, and yeah, you feel me? Yeah, about
C a cool dude. He always was solid. If he mess with you, he mess with you the long way. Like he's gonna go hard for you regardless. Like you ain't never finna hear nothing about something happening when you was there and he ain't speak up on your behalf. Like he just was a solid dude. And yeah, it was very unfortunate because he had 3 girls that, they was basically babies, So for them to have to go all these years, like I big ups to them because they really keep their daddy relevant. They fight behind the lines. Like y'all might not know, but them girls been putting in some work to, try to see their daddy. But I know it had to be hard on them and him, because you gotta think, like, little girls, when you were a man and you actually present, like you want to be there to protect them. So more than anything, I know that has crushed him about the situation more than anything, having to be absent and away from them like he is,
Yeah. Right. Okay, let's go on a lighter note, more positive note. Coming up in October, we got the No Limit Reunion Tour. And I got some dates on my phone right here for y'all who don't know. And y'all gonna see Miss Mercedes on this tour. Saturday, October the 2nd, Chicago. Saturday, October 9th, Detroit, your hometown of 313. Friday, November 5th, Baltimore. Saturday, November 6th, Washington, D.C. November 13th, Atlanta. Coming down south, y'all. November 19th, Nashville. November 20th, South Haven, Memphis, South Haven, Mississippi, which is Memphis, basically. November 26th, Dallas. November 27th, Houston. No Limit Reunion Tour. So when you get the call about this, give us that rundown. Are we thinking about doing it? We put it together. We want you on. How? Give us the rundown about how you got that call.
Well, actually, I got the call the year prior because they had started doing shows, but then with the stuff with this pandemic and everything shutting down, a lot of the shows ended. Originally, I wasn't a part of the show, but they ended up contacting me like, we need you to come out to some of these dates. Like it's mandatory. Like it makes no sense for you to not be there because, like I said, I've been there since the beginning. Like I literally was a part of the original tour anyway, so it just made sense. So I did actually make it to a few dates, but at that time, I made it at that time, I wasn't being promoted, so it was like a surprise, you know.
Okay.
Originally, I would come out on Silk set, like you know, in the middle of his set, you will see my album cover come up on the stage. They go crazy because you see that album cover, you know she must be about to come out. So I would, you know, pop in for a second, do my song, I could tell, and I was off the stage. But I was already told that, you know, once we lock in more dates, we're gonna start to promote you as being there, and eventually you're gonna get your own set. So this time, they had already started getting dates together, and the promoter is actually the same promoter on all the shows you just named.
Oh, it is?
He
Okay.
actually he actually reached out to DJ Boosie. Boosie is
Out of Baton
mainly on the
Rouge.
road.
Out of Baton
Yeah,
Rouge. Yeah, I know
yeah,
Boosie. Yeah, I
definitely.
know Boosie. Yeah, I know Boosie.
He's mainly P's DJ, but for the tour, we have him and KLC, and they kind of go back and forth. Like, you know,
Right.
one might do this person's set and he doing somebody else's, and it's a segment where they kind of like go back and forth. So he actually contacted him because he didn't know none of my information, like my social media, my email, nothing.
Okay.
So he contacted him, and of course, that's my bro. He called my phone, like, look, the promoter trying to get in touch with you. Is it cool if I give him your number? I'm like, yeah, for sure. So he ended up, like, in that same day or the next 24 hours, shoot me a text, and I called him back. We chopped it up. You know, you got to discuss numbers because it's all business.
Of course.
And at that time, I was informed, like, you know, you're gonna have your own set. So now I know, like, okay, this is real. I gotta go practice. Gotta give me, you know, some dance moves together and
Right.
get this
Right.
body in shape so I can get on that stage. So yeah, I done had a few months to prepare. So I'm gonna be vicious when I come out there.
Yeah, because one time when I called you a few weeks ago, you said I got practice on this day, and this day. You feel what I'm saying? I remember you saying
Yeah.
that. I think Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays I got rehearsal for the concerts coming up. So with that being said, what can we? You ain't got to give us the spill. You practice. What can we expect to see? What can we expect to see going on without?
You can expect to hear some of your favorites. I think my set is anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, give or take, because you know you gotta factor in somebody being late or running over. So I don't know the exact time yet, but yeah, I incorporated some dances. And yeah, we gonna cut up. We
So
coming
we're
up
gonna
with
see
our set.
Mercedes show out. That what you're telling me? We're gonna see Mercedes show out.
Definitely, she's showing up. She gonna cut up this time.
Again, y'all, this is the No Limit reunion, No Limit Records reunion tour. Which will be featuring Master P, Silk the Shocker, Mia X, the Biggest Mama, Mr. Servon, Mercedes, Fiend, and my motherfucking nigga Milska, all on the No Limit reunion. So again, the dates. So let me repeat these dates again. October 2nd, Chicago. October 9th, Detroit. November 5th, Baltimore. November 6th, Washington, D.C. November 13th, Atlanta, Georgia. November 19th, Nashville, Tennessee. November 20th, Memphis, Tennessee. November 26th, Dallas, Texas. November 27th, Houston, Texas. Again, that's a No Limit reunion tour.
Absolutely. You can go grab your tickets right now on Ticketmaster. Don't wait. If you want them good seats, you better get them now.
Go grab your
It's
ticket,
Friday.
like Mercedes said on Instagram. Don't call her number. Don't call her number because she's not gonna get you in. Go get your ticket.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Don't
Get
call
your
her
ticket. For real, because especially like in my city, like I've been here all my life and I grew up in the hood, so I know a lot of people, and for some reason, everybody that you know thinks that you can get them backstage. Like, for one, y'all got to keep in mind that we are still living in a pandemic, and there are a lot of restrictions. Like, most of these promoters are not even going to allow backstage, like unless you are doing something with the show, like
Right.
you can anticipate to not, be able to. It ain't even about no money. Like they're
Right.
not even putting tickets up available for you to purchase for backstage because they still gotta be safe. Like we
Right.
literally have to go from city to city, and we have to, we gotta be safe as we can so that we can make it to these dates because
Right.
nobody ain't trying to have to sit down in quarantine.
Right.
So
Right about that.
that's what it is. So if you know me, don't put it on my heart or my mind. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I love y'all,
Right.
but I mean they gotta make their money too. So if
Man,
you can't, if you fuck with me, or I'm sorry, I probably ain't supposed to
you can
cuss,
do
but
that. Yeah,
if you
it's cool. We
support
good.
me in any kind of way, go grab them tickets. Cause like I said, I might not have been able to show out them shows prior, but
You finna make
I'm
up for
cutting
that
up
shit
this
now.
time.
You finna make up
I'm
for that
cutting
shit.
up this time.
I'm telling y'all, best
For
believe it.
sure.
Best believe it. Now, Mercedes, the famous album cover, rear end. All the niggas like that. That was probably the most popular album cover in jail for 10 years. You feel me? And probably still now.
Oh man, still. I hear so many stories.
I heard some, trust me, from my homeboys. I heard some, trust me, you feel me? They got them through the night. You feel me?
Yeah, I done heard.
Oh,
Definitely.
how did the album cover come about with you bending over on front of the car? You feel me?
Well,
give us that rundown.
I'm gonna be honest. I saw it probably like a week before the world saw it. But initially, we went to this big old studio. Like they had different backdrops. Most of them was like green screen because
Right,
it was new. Like that was the hot thing.
right.
And graphics. So I had buku outfits changes, like different poses. And this particular one was a swimming suit, so that's why it's so small and you could see stuff. But I actually was using a ladder, and I did different poses or whatever. And I get to the office like a week after we come back from Houston, and they like, we got y'all covers, so we gonna call y'all in one by one so y'all can see them.
Who was
So
with
I
you?
go in there.
What other artist was that? What other artist?
At the time it was me, Fiend, and Mac for sure, because we all signed at the same time. We was
Okay.
fresh.
Okay.
The Prime Suspects went out. I want to say Kane and Abel did, and that might have been it.
Okay. Go ahead.
And so I go into the room. At the time, it was Tavesta Scott. He was in charge of like all the legal stuff, and Master P. So they slide me this paper, like, it's a Xerox copy of what it's gonna actually look like. And I said, wait a minute, where did this card come from? And why we choose this one? I'm like, no, let's look, let me see what the other ones look like, so I could decide. I don't think I want that. And they both looked at each other like, oh, we done messed up, like sure like it. And I'm like, why y'all looking like that? They like, we done already sent everybody's covers off to the Vibe. It's gonna be in this month's issue. I'm like, you lying. They like, no. I'm like, my daddy is gonna kill me. Like that's all I thought about. I thought about my daddy instantly because, of course, any girl that have a relationship with their father,
Right.
you for sure don't want to be looking like no hot ass like that.
Right.
That just, and then that's not me. Like like anybody that knows me, don't get me wrong. I'm a bad one. I could get dressed and look my part, but on a day to day, I'm sweats, tank top, or like I'm comfortable. I
Right.
like to be chill. So it was so not me that I was like, I don't know, but they instantly was like, you got to think of your competition. Like at the time, Foxy Brown had just came out, Lil Kim, Adina Howard was out, like, and everybody had sexual content as far as their album covers. And immediately they said, like, regardless, this album is gonna sell. If they don't want it to hear the music, they're gonna buy it because they want to look at the cover. Simple as that. So I'm like, yeah, this is I'm gonna have to break my ice. I kind of had to call my daddy and warn him before he
Before
actually
you saw it, right, right.
definitely.
That was smart marketing, though. To be honest with you, that was smart
Yeah,
marketing.
for sure.
You feel me?
They knew what they was doing.
That
That's
was
for
smart
sure.
marketing. Yeah. You
Yeah,
said
shout out to Pen and Pixel because they put some legendary stuff together for sure.
that was slick right there. Before we got here, I got to do this thing called the pick one challenge. You feel what I'm saying? Which means
Okay.
I'm gonna name two names. I want you to pick one. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm gonna go down the list. Beyonce or Rihanna?
Ooh, that's tough. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with Riri. I'm gonna have to go with Rihanna.
Rihanna over Beyonce? Okay.
Only because of her type of music. It's more like me. You
Okay.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
she's a lot more urban.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I will go with Rihanna.
Rihanna. Okay. Foxy
I love
Brown.
them both. Both hot.
Foxy Brown or Eve?
Ooh, dang, Ma, you coming with it?
Yes, I am. And I want your answer.
I'm gonna have to say my girl Eve, because when I did my promo tour, I don't know if y'all know y'all musical history, but Rough Riders was just getting hot when we started to go on the road, 99. So I did a lot of like shows on my promo run, and the Rough Riders was there. And like before y'all even knew who Eve was, we was rocking the same stage. So for sure, I had to go with my girl.
Eve. Queen Latifah or MC Light?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna go with the Queen.
Queen. All right.
Queen Latifah for sure.
Check this out. JJ Fad or Salt and Pepper?
Ooh, JJ Fad, because they didn't have as long of a run that they should have. Like I think they might have got dropped or something.
Okay.
And you know, Salt and Pepper, who don't know Salt and Pepper? Like you
Right.
gotta really be into music to know who JJ Fad is. Like you might
Yeah.
know their song, but you might
Right.
not know that's them, you know?
Right. Okay, watch this. You got to pick one of these. C Murder or Soldier Slim?
Dang. Okay, that's easy because I already got tracks with C Murder, so I'm going with Soulja Slim for sure.
Soldier Slim. Okay. Snoop Dogg or Ice Cube?
Snoop for sure.
Lil Wayne or T.I.? Lil Wayne or T.I.?
Ooh, that's a tough one, but I'm gonna go with Lil Wayne just for the simple fact that a lot of people don't know, but by us being from the same area, it was like Cash Money and No Limit were rivals. So for us to be able to do something where the two labels would come together, that would be dope.
Gotcha. I'm going to speak on that too before we get out of here. Jay-Z or 50 Cent?
Jay-Z for sure.
Lil Kim or Nicki Minaj?
Ooh. I don't know. I gotta go with Kim.
You got to go with Kim.
I've been rocking with Kim since day one.
Gotcha.
I mess with Nicki Minaj. Like she got some heat for sure. I ain't gonna say that she wouldn't be who she is, but she came out at the perfect time. She had no competition.
She did.
She had no competition. So it was an easy win. Like, don't get me wrong, she put the work in and did what she had to do to keep her title, but yeah, they knew what they was doing when they dropped up, because like I said, at the time, it was no girl groups, it was no new female rap artists. So yeah, she did the thing for sure.
Right now, I heard you say something earlier. This wasn't even part of my questions, but back in the day, like you said, powerhouses in New Orleans, Cash Money and No Limit, and then also on the outside looking in, I always wanted to see them work together. Once I moved down there and I understood the street politics, I knew why it didn't happen. You follow what I'm saying? But so back in the day, if you want to answer this, were y'all told you cannot work with them, or you just knew that that couldn't happen?
Well, I personally was never told that, but like I said, because I knew that we only can work with our producers. Like it wasn't no. Don't get me wrong, I knew them.
Right.
because like I said, by me having family there, and me being there, I was up on Cash Money. Like, Doogie, well, BG
BG, yeah,
was one of their first artists like that they was pushing. Like I had every mixtape that he put out. So
right,
of course it would have been dope to be, a new artist. I'm not from here. I would have loved to sit down and work with them. Wayne was cold and he was a kid.
yeah,
So
yep,
of course, like I would have loved to, but it wasn't no go get a beat from Manny Fresh. Like
right,
it was beats by the pound. Like that's it. Like so you knew but you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like it was an
right,
unspoken rule. Like
right,
I heard more from other people. Like I would be at a club and like I said, I knew these dudes. Like I was cool with BG. I would see Wayne, like, not in the clubs because he was young, but Turk, Juvie, uh even oh Lord, I'm about to say the boy real name. Birdman.
yeah,
About to,
yeah,
about to call him his real name, but even, I would see them.
right,
Like, I could be going to the mall, to the not the plaza, but lakefront.
lakefront, yeah,
And
yeah,
if you came up on Causeway and happen to need gas, you might
right,
run into them because their studio was right around the corner. So
yeah,
I saw them, but like I said, I would hear somebody might be in the car with me and see me speak to them when by the time I get back in the car, they like, oh, you ain't supposed to be talking. And I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't know. But
right,
I learned that it just was an unspoken rule. And
right,
from knowing that none of them, y'all all been in the same city for the longest, y'all ain't never did tracks together. It was just like something that you knew.
right, 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 right. Okay, what's next from Mercedes? What can we expect? You know what I'm saying? Give us everything. What's next?
Well, I had anticipated dropping new music when we first hit the road, but because I'm somewhat active on social media, I'm still learning and getting used to all this because like I said, anybody that knows me knows I like to be able to move around. I'm really not used to the being here and a person notice you because like I said, like we all know, they looked at that cover. They looked at my butt more than they looked at my face. Like a lot
Right.
of people don't even realize that it's a whole shot of me sitting up in the corner
With the cigar,
with the
smoking.
cigar. But
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of people don't even notice that picture because they
Right.
zoned in on this one. So it was so easy for me to move around because people didn't know my face. And now because of social media, like I get messages from people like I seen your son, and it just be weird stuff like, well, hold on. I knew that was my son. Like, so it's all this part of it is new to me because like I said, I was always very able to just move around. Like nobody would recognize me unless you really knew me and
Right.
could tap somebody like that's your girl. Like, I was smooth. I could go anywhere. But so now I have to be a little more cautious because you never know what type of time people on.
Right.
And it's
Right.
just the hood in me to be cautious. But I had a few issues where I had to have back surgery.
Right. I remember that.
I have terrible sinuses as well as asthma, so I had to get a few surgical procedures to, correct some of this stuff because I need to be able to breathe and
Yeah.
to do what I do on the stage. So I had to get me together before I could focus on everything I wanted to do. But for sure, I still keep in contact with all the beats by the pound. It's nothing for me to call and get a beat. Just recently, I think it was March, KLC finally had dropped a compilation. Like he had been sitting on tracks forever.
The drum
So
major album. The drum major
yeah,
album.
so I'm actually on that album. We should be doing a video for it soon.
Yeah, my nigga. That's my nigga. Yeah.
Besides that, I got a few things I'm sitting on. I probably drop a single or two just to see how I do, and hopefully if they messing with it like I think they will, y'all can expect the EP from me. And for sure, like I had touched on, we never got to do a visual for I Can Tell, and I appreciate that so many years later, like my song is still relevant. Like
It sure is.
it's not a
timeless.
club you can go to that at some point in before the night is over, you're gonna hear this song.
It's
So
timeless.
I appreciate that it's it's kids that didn't grow up with this music that actually can stand there and sing it word for word. Like, I really truly like appreciate that, because a lot of people can't say that after 20 years, this song is in
Right.
rotation all over the world. So
Right.
shout out to y'all for keeping it up there. But yeah, I got some heat. I've been, and you can see my growth. Like, you actually personally got to work with me in the
Right.
studio
Right. I did.
and see how I am and how I
Right.
operate. And I was actually blessed to do a song with the Chopper City Boys. Shout out to
My
BG,
niggas. Yeah.
Carol, all the Chopper City Boys. Rest in peace, BL Mike.
Rest in peace. Right.
Shout out to Gar. Shout out to Snipe. Hakizzle.
Right.
I can name y'all all, but
You know it. You family. You know it. You name it. You know it. That's why you know everything you talking about. I ain't gotta say shit. You know
we all
everything.
family. We locked and loaded. Like it's nothing. Like even when I go home, I still say home. When I go to New Orleans,
Right.
I'm for sure gonna see one of them. Like it's always all love. And I just know that with this music, for one, by my album being done in 7 days, some of those records I had to push out because I was hoarse, because I literally was recording from sun up to sundown, and I go to the room and I'm supposed to be sleeping, but I came home with this track and I can't put it down, so I'm writing, so I'm getting minimal sleep. I'm pushing out vocals all day on top of doing dance rehearsals and stuff like that. I'm weighing my body down, so I personally know I didn't give my best.
Okay.
But overall, the project was bomb. Like I can't be mad at how it turned out. Like I appreciate everybody that came in and did a song. I personally believe I might have had the most features throughout the label on my album, which kind of made it hard when I come to doing shows, because I have to, for the most part, I'm doing snippets if they're not present. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I'm gonna give y'all a lot more of me, because a lot of people just consider me to be this rap artist. And to be completely honest, that was never what I was signed for. I actually can sing. And we just did the rapping because you gotta think everybody around me raps. Like they just felt like, okay, we gonna incorporate this. Like we still want you to sing, but we want you to push yourself. We want you to do some rapping. So I tapped into a part of me that I didn't know existed. And now, I'm coming with some heat. I got the best of both worlds. I've grown as an artist, and I believe on some of this new stuff I'm gonna do, it's gonna be heat for sure.
Well, I want to speak some into existence, and I hope it happens. I'm just gonna throw it out there so that I can put on the spot that she can get it done. Mac is home. Mac is home. So once he get his legal situation worked out, whatever he got going on, I want to see Mac and Mercedes reunite and do the I Can Tell video. That's just my old pep talk.
Definitely, we've already talked about it. We've already talked about it. It's in the works. We actually trying to be creative with how we gonna do the treatment, because you gotta think we aren't that age anymore. So we still want it to look like it needs to look. So that's the main thing, is getting the treatment together. But it's nothing for us to pick a date and show up and do what we do. Like that's my dog. So the chemistry is gonna be there. I still actually can hit Jabbo up at any time. So for sure that is in the works. Like hopefully we can get it done this year, but if not, it'll be by the beginning of next year for sure.
And then when that shit happens, all it's gonna do is as you know, this with this new era. Once y'all, even though that song was 20 years old, once y'all do a video, it's gonna be new.
It's gonna be like it's a brand new,
like it just came out. And from there, you all are gonna start getting bookings with y'all two together. Promoters want to do for that, right? You know what I'm saying? So I was gonna trying to some extra money. You feel what I'm saying? That's all I was gonna do.
Definitely, for sure. I finally got Rear End up there, so it's on all the streaming sites. Yeah, they've been driving me crazy for the longest. Like it's in my control. I've been uploaded and submitted everything. It was just a waiting game. So yeah, it's available. So I know if y'all had a favorite song, go download it, stream it. Yeah, that girl trying to get that paper.
Hey y'all, so what she just told y'all, The Mercedes Platinum album, Rear End, that was released on No Limit Records, is available now online for streaming. So go Google it,
Absolutely.
Mercedes Rear End. It's available for streaming. We don't have CDs no more. If you had a CD, you done lost the motherfucker or scratched the or it's broke. So you need the album again. Go and Google Mercedes Rear End and download and stream that. You follow what I'm saying? Before we got them
Absolutely.
Mercedes, give them your Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and all that shit so they can follow you.
All of my pages, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Snapchat, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Clubhouse, I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube. Everything is Miss Lady Mercedes. That's MZLadyMercedes.
Y'all got that. Y'all got that. Again, thanks to my lady, the lovely Miss Mercedes, for tuning in. That's another edition.
Thank you for having me, Mom.
Thank you for tuning in. You know it's all love. You know how we rock. It's all love, y'all.
Always. And I see you when we come. I see you when we come close to your city. We don't
come to
be in your
Nashville.
city.
Yeah, you come to Nashville and come to Memphis. But I might be coming to Detroit for the show up there. You feel me?
Okay, yeah.
We'll slide it. Yeah,
Let me know.
We're gonna connect regardless, y'all. We're gonna connect. You feel me?
Definitely.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MaulThePimp. Go to my website, www.maulthepimp.com, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Pimpoholic TV. And again,
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Keep it pimping, Mom.
Best believe it. And we out here. Love.